What's up, guys? This is the B&T can you probably never heard of. This is the B&T Rotex X SF Mini K. A lot of letters there, but I'm looking forward to giving you guys a full review of this one. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so real quick, why did I get this can? Well, I was actually originally looking at some Surefire options, and then I learned that B&T had some Surefire compatible suppressors. So that's why I started looking at this guy right here. And I have in front of me a Daniel Defense M4A1. That's a 14-inch rifle. And I actually wanted to optimize this rifle specifically and a can that would work with some of my other longer rifles as well. So that's why I got it. And also, it was a couple $100 cheaper than the Surefire at the time of getting this. The other Surefire I was looking at was the RC2 Mini. So again, just wanted something short for longer rifles like this one here. And yeah, like I mentioned, this is a Surefire compatible model. So you'll see here I have the Surefire 3-prong muzzle device. And this B&T is a Surefire specific attaching model. So it ratchets on similarly to Surefire, but not quite the same. So here is a Surefire SPS 300 SOCOM. And so YouTube won't let me show this, but you slip it on the muzzle device and then just twist it on and it will ratchet on and then release. So B&T works similarly. It also twists on, but the knobs are on this outside diameter part here, and then this prong is what locks it in. So comparing these two different attaching methods, the Surefire is easier to get on and off. You just squeeze this button and then twist. Whereas the B&T, when it's hot, pushing that tab up is a little bit more difficult to do when it's hot and then twisting. So ultimately, I do think this is a little bit harder to get off. But in the long term, I think this mount is actually a more durable style than this one. And although it's a little bit more difficult to get off, it might present a little bit less issues down the road. But yeah, whether you're looking at this model here or a different model, just be sure you're aware of the different mounting styles because there are a number of options with B&T now. And the B&T is made out of Inconel metal, as you can see, coming in at 0.86 pounds. So not the lightest can, but this thing does feel solid and sturdy. I really like Inconel. It seems like this material is very strong and built to last for a long time. But yeah, very cool can, especially when it is on the rifle. It only adds about 2.5 inches to the overall length, which is ultimately something I kind of wanted for a longer rifle. I didn't want too much weight way out on the end of the rifle, so it definitely accomplishes that. I could technically run the Surefire that I have, this one here, on this Daniel Defense, which I have before, but it is a little bit heavier than this one and longer, so it's pushing that weight out further and further. But yeah, I mostly got this to take some of the pop or the bang off of the rifle I mentioned here and other rifles, which it definitely does achieve that. It doesn't quite have that quiet, like, that sound, since it's not as long, but it does take a lot of that deep bang off for sure. So I do like that. So yeah, this definitely achieves the goal I wanted to. One thing I wasn't anticipating was it does have a little bit more back pressure than I expected. As you can see, this isn't like a flow through style can. I do like the design here. It's kind of like a end flash hider type thing to disperse some of the flash if that were to happen. I haven't noticed anything. I'd have to do a lot more night shooting to truly get a feel for that and do more filming on that. I've done a little bit, but thus far it does seem good. But yeah, just wasn't anticipating quite as much back pressure as I got. The longer rifles, it does better. I did try this on a 10-3 as well, just to see what it felt like. It performed on the 10-3, but there was even more back pressure on some of those shorter ones. So I didn't get it for that. I just wanted to see how it would perform. I personally would not recommend anything less than a 14.5, and neither does B&T for this. So it doesn't accomplish the goals I wanted to, but it's not flow through. So just be aware that you will get a little more back pressure. I'm running a H2 buffer now on this Daniel and some of my other rifles, and that seemed to help a little bit with that. Now, one of the last times I was at the range, there was actually some dude next to me who had a RC2 Mini, and I was chatting with him, and we tried each other's cans. And after testing each other's for a little bit, if I were to compare this to his RC2 Mini and, the RC2 Mini overall, what I would say is this does a little bit better job of reducing sound by a touch than the RC2 Mini. But the RC2 Mini did have a touch less back pressure. So if you're comparing this to the RC2 Mini, I have in fact tested both of them. Not the RC2 Mini for an extended period of time, but the RC2 Mini just had a little bit different performance. So that's kind of what I'd have to say between these two. So yeah, ultimately, I do like this. For me, I'm probably going to look at more of the flow through options as a lot of new technology is coming out and to the market. I saw Rotex came out, or I saw B&T came out with a new Rotex. They're calling it the 556 Mini K that is a 3D printed, and they're saying it has like a star pattern baffle. So I don't know. I'm curious to hear if anybody has that yet, or I might take a look at that too. But yeah, ultimately this is pretty solid, I would say. It's just a little bit of a bummer that it has more back pressure than I thought. So if you're trying to mag dump quickly with this, I don't think this is the best suppressor for that. But yeah, moving forward, I'm going to continue shooting this. It is pretty solid. It's built like a tank. Ultimately, I would rank it like, I don't know, like a 7 out of 10 probably. I don't have a crazy amount of suppressor experience, but a little bit. And I mean, I also am going to add the SD charging handle from Radiant Raptor on this to see what that does and see how much effect that has on it. So I will likely have some more content and some more updates on this suppressor specifically, and maybe some more tips and tricks on it. But yeah, so far the H2 buffer and then a different type of charging handle is what I want to try. I know there's different adjustable BCGs, bulk carrier groups, that actually can mitigate some blast out of the side too, that are tunable. I forget what that's called off the top of my head, but I might take a look at that down the road at some point too, see what my thoughts are there. But this is a Daniel Defense fairly new bulk carrier group. So for me, like, that's a really nice part. It doesn't really make sense to change that out at this time if I don't have to. But yeah, guys, overall, I do enjoy this can. I'm also going to be looking at some of the reduced back pressure systems that are coming out. I feel like there's a lot of technology that's coming out right now that is very efficient and more pleasant from the shooter for the shooter. While reducing sound is obviously really important, that's a big part of a suppressor. Mitigating flash and overall user experience is important to me too. So I don't know. I'm going to keep a lookout and see. There's lots of good options out there right now. Plus, this may sound a little bit weird or not make sense unless you've shot and, suppressed for a while, but the noise isn't the most important thing to me. I mean, sure, we get suppressors, so they're more quiet, but also for some of those reasons that I mentioned. But keep in mind, a 5.56 is going supersonic. It's very, very high velocity. So if you're looking at a 5.56 can, don't get too hung up on sound or decibels. There's a lot of other things that you can look at there. I think it's Pew Science has a lot of interesting notes on their channel too. I don't think they have this one on there, but yeah, cool can overall for sure. All right, and there you have it, guys, a wrap up of the B&T can we have here. I hope that information was helpful for you. Let me know what you thought of it. If you liked it, feel free to throw up a thumbs up. If you like content like this, feel free to jump on board and subscribe. I've got a lot more videos like this coming out, and let me know if there's anything I missed or anything else you want to see. So I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.